All right, I think we're going to get started here. Hello, good morning. Welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed the summer. I want to start off by thanking our sponsors who helped us purchase the food and have that all ready for you. So we've got David's Marketplace, who made everything except the coffee, and I just got the juice from you guys. So thank you so much. MBT Bank, Farmers Trust and Savings Bank, Citizens Community Credit Bank, Credit Union, Worthwhile Wind, Next Era Energy, and Lake Mills Family Dental. So thank you to those sponsors. And then some of them also did centerpiece pieces, which we're going to give away to you guys at the end of the program here. We have 21 this year, which is more than we've ever had. So a lot of you will be going home with some fun stuff for your classrooms. So I also would like to recognize the LMCDC board. My president is Angie Thompson of WCTA. Wave hi. Vice president is Jackie Viella of Dave's Auto Service and Don's Motor Mart. And our treasurer is David Taft of MBT Bank. And then I also have Montana Ostrander of Farmers Trust and Savings Bank, Chris Griffin, Winnebago Insurance Agency, I believe he's on here. Julie Connor of David's Marketplace. Chris Rogne of the Lake Mills Community School District. And Ashley Hoffman of the Lake Mills Care Center. And then I also like to recognize our city council members, so if anybody's here from the city council, just give us a wave. Our mayor, Mark Peterson, Joe Jamgard, Bill Clark, and those three actually sit on my board as city representatives, so they attend most of my meetings. Bob Storby, Nathan Ostrander, and Brian Thompson. Again, thank you to David's for the rolls, fruit, and egg bake, and thank you to Royce's Brew for the fresh coffee. I think there's still quite a bit of cold brew left, and I believe she's working on some more hot coffee. Yes, okay. So there'll be coffee left over for you guys, and any of the leftover food we'll just have by the superintendent's office for you guys to snack on over the day. So head there if you're looking for a pick-me-up. As we get started with our program, I just wanted to express our gratitude to all of you for all you do for our community. LMCS is the heart of Lake Mills. Essentially everybody who has grown up in this community has walked through these hallways. Many have returned so their kids could do the same. This school has fostered hundreds and hundreds of young professionals, much like our speaker today, who have gone out into the world or who have chosen to stay right here in Lake Mills to do great things. You as teachers and staff face many challenges, constantly changing requirements, disgruntled, maybe misinformed parents, community connection chat rooms. Those are all rough. You carry the heavy burden of guiding our young people, a responsibility that not many people are cut out for. And yet, you are still committed to turning classrooms into places of discovery, to helping kids set goals and dreams. You coach kids to be confident in themselves and develop perseverance, and you show students what it means to be a part of something bigger. You teach our children what community means, and as a whole, you make our community a better place, and we thank you for that. The impact you have had on our students' lives and on the community is immeasurable. We are truly lucky to have such passionate and dedicated professionals shaping the next generation. We wish you a fun and fulfilling academic year, and I now invite Pastor Rob from the Lake Mills Area Ministerial Association, La Mama, to give a greeting.
Oh, thank you, Cassie, and thank you for asking me to do this. So, my name is Pastor Rob Lanphere. I pastor Asbury Methodist Church here in Lake Mills, and I'm here this morning on behalf of La Mama. So, La Mama is our Lake Mills Area Ministerial Association. So, we're made up of churches and clergy in the school district. We're also represented by school reps, our police, and other community leaders. And what La Mama does is we operate the food shelf, which is at Salem. They're open on Mondays from 2 to 5, and that's open to anyone in the school district. And there's no money limitation or financial limitation or anything. Anyone can go. And they also have a clothing closet as well. We are part of the summer feeding programs. This summer, we had meals for students who would normally get school lunch but didn't have access to that, and provided meals that they would have each week they would get for the week. We also have a community assistance fund. So anyone that would need rent assistance or utility assistance, those sort of things. We have a form they can fill out, and then we have people that help with that fund as well. During the school year, we host baccalaureate. The seniors plan that, but we just kind of are there for guidance and direction. And then we also host National Day of Prayer. So the first Thursday in May is National Day of Prayer, and we host that event. So if we have any La Mama members, I'd ask if you'd please stand to be recognized this one. And that's one thing you'll notice, we are really, the amount of clergy in this area is really shrinking, and so that's a big need as well. So think of that as a prayer to lift up, for the clergy in our area. So when I was thinking about what to speak on this morning, and it occurred to me, a pastor and a teacher are very similar in our role, our vocation. We have a lot in common. So first off, no one just decides one day they want to be a teacher. It's a calling, right? You feel that, I want to do what I can to help the next generation. You feel this calling just as a pastor, because let's face it, we're definitely not in it for the money. Amen. As a teacher, you probably heard, you got it so easy. You get all summer off. You get every holiday. You don't have to work weekends. Oh, must be rough. So I would call that the equivalent of, a pastor, they only work one day a week. Right? I would say that's about the same. And so our jobs, they may not be physically demanding, but they're very emotionally and spiritually demanding. They require a lot of us. That's why self-care is so important. So I want to speak just a little bit on self-care. And when I think of that, I imagine a cup. So we have our cup. And in the Jewish tradition, there's that cup of blessing. That we think that we realize all our blessings, everything we have comes from God. God fills our cup up, and then we in turn can use that as a blessing to others. We pour out our cup. And so we need that to be full. And the Apostle Paul takes that same image when he relates it to the Lord's Supper. That cup, the cup of Christ, poured out for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins. He takes that same idea connected to the Lord's Supper. So the idea that all blessings are from God. God is the giver of all good things, and he's the one who fills our cup. When our cup is full, then there's plenty to be poured out to others. So in our professions, I feel we're being poured out every day because we care. We care so much. We give. And it's not, if we don't take the time to fill our own cup, then there's nothing left to give. And, our cup's probably empty by noon some days. And so our work suffers, our own lives suffer as well. So we need that to help with our sanity. So take time to fill your cup. Hopefully you have a self-care routine and a regular practice. And my routine will be different from all of yours, but take time. And so I thought, what's some good self-care ideas for a teacher? So I went to my trusted resource, Google, and I found 3 things that I wanted to bring up. The first one is mindful breathing, and this actually works. So I use the spiritual practice of a breath prayer. So when you breathe in, it's one line, you breathe out, it's another. So just 2 lines. So I like to use, let your spirit flow through me. So when you breathe in, let your spirit flow through me. And you just say that a few times, and it's amazing how when you're just stressed and overwhelmed, just something simple like that, man, it's like it all fades away. It just kind of goes down. And there's plenty of breath prayer ideas out there, or you can write your own. Second would be to create a healthy work-life balance. When the bell rings, it doesn't mean we leave everything here, does it? No, a lot of times we take that home, just as I take home, whenever I go home for the day, my day isn't normally done. I'm still thinking about people in my congregation or those who are hurting. We're thinking of those families, we're thinking of those teachers, or those students that shared something with us. I'm like, it's hard to make that separation, but try to work on a healthy work-life balance. And the last thing is that saying no is actually a gift. I had to learn this lesson the hard way because there's so many great ideas, and I want to do them all. And I wish I could, but man, we stretch ourselves so thin. Saying no is actually a gift. Learn to decline those extra commitments that may overextend your time and energy, and focus on the few things you do and do them well. Will you pray with me? Well, God, we thank you for all the teachers, staff, and administration, and for all the work that they do. Lord, we ask you to help each of them to have a great year and to find the time to keep their self-care cup full so that they have enough to devote to their work and students. And may the school year start off strong. I ask you give them favor with their students and their parents, and grant them wisdom and lesson prep and the creativity to use their skills, talents, gifts, and graces. Amen.
Good morning. We've heard a lot of thank yous, and we're sincerely thank you to all the sponsors and everybody for being here, but I also want to take a minute just to thank Cassie for organizing and pulling this together. It really is a team effort, but it takes somebody to lead that and get it done. Not just this event, many events across, like probably all the events across the community, honestly. She's making it happen, so thank you, Cassie. My name's Chris Rogne, and I have the privilege to be superintendent of schools here at Lake Mills. And I just want to take a second here to welcome back our dedicated educators. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming back for another year. I'm grateful for the countless ways you make a difference. And to the community that comes out, thank you. Thanks for your steady support. Thanks for your involvement. That helps this environment work here. So thank you. And with that, I'd like to take this time to invite our featured speaker, Heath Bartness, up here. Heath spent his younger years growing up in Emmons and open enrolled to Lake Mills in 7th grade. He graduated from Lake Mills High School in 1998, where he's a true multi-sport athlete, participating and lettering in baseball, basketball, and golf. He also showcased his diverse talents in school plays and was active in FFA. After high school, Heath continued his education, earning a bachelor's degree in political science, public administration, from BV, Benton Vista University, and a master's in healthcare administration from Des Moines University. Heath's career journey began in public service, working for the Iowa Department of Public Health as a graduate student, and later serving as secretary for the State Business and Labor Committee for the Iowa Legislature. He then transitioned into healthcare administration, taking roles as administrator at Care Initiatives in Ottumwa, Iowa, and later at Arbor Springs in West Des Moines. In 2009, Heath founded St. Croix Hospice, where he serves as Chief Executive Officer. The organization now provides services across 10 states in the Midwest. His passion for patients at the end of their lives was the driving force behind establishing St. Croix Hospice. He is committed to improving access to hospice care for everyone, educating the public about high-quality hospice services, and providing unrivaled experiences for patients and families. His visionary leadership and innovative approach have led St. Croix Hospice to receive the highest honor from the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization for 4 consecutive years, 2021 through 2024. Today, Heath is not only a successful healthcare professional, but also a dedicated family man. He and his wife Dana are busy raising their 4 children, Lydia, Harrison, Henry, and Molly. When he's not with his family, Heath dedicates his time to important leadership roles, serving on the Board of Trustees for BV University, and on the Washington, D.C. based Community Health Accreditation Board. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Heath Bartness.
Thanks, and you got great hair. Great hair. As the kids would say, it's skibbity to be here today. No cap. Food is busting this morning. We're ready to get a riz on. So let's do this thing. I truly am honored and privileged to be here. It's been a long time since I've came back to this room here, and I was sharing earlier today that this was kind of my home away from home. Being an Emmons kid, this is where we'd have to wait to get picked up or for rides to kind of come and go. And there used to be a payphone up here, and whenever I was having to get my folks to give me a ride, I would call and say Heath North, meaning pick me up at the north door, and calling collect, right? Heath South. And so they'd say, will you accept this collect call from Heath North? No, we will not. And then 10 minutes later, I'd get picked up. The entire event here is cool. I'd never been to one of these, and seeing so many of you that have been so impactful to my life, either as degenerates with me in school and beyond, or people that really impacted my life, teachers, coaches, community members. And the thesis of kind of where I wanted to go today was really less about the school and more about the community aspect. Growing up in Emmons, we knew everyone, and usually people knew what we did before we did it. and that sense of community didn't change when I came to Lake Mills. People were so welcoming to open up their doors to me. I see a bunch of my friends' parents here that came out to support, and never was there ever a door shut or a time where I didn't feel like if I had a snowstorm or out of school early kind of dismissal that I couldn't go to one of those people's places. Coaches that certainly impacted us and said, hey, look, if you need a ride, we'll give you a ride, or whatever support was given. And then even businesses. I probably spent too much time at Don's Motor Mart with the sub sandwiches and the pizza. But even that was something that was very welcoming and engaging. And that's something that I don't think exists in every community. And again, I know we live here and this is just what's second nature to us, but it doesn't exist like this everywhere. We live in a town called Matamidi, Minnesota. It's awful hard to see or how to say it if you see it. But we have about 250 kids that graduate per grade. Most of those kids play one sport or participate in one activity. Mr. Rogne mentioned I was some kind of I don't think stellar athlete, but a multi-sport. I was middle of the pack at best. But you did it all, right? Like you needed to go out for these sports because they needed you to practice, right? You wanted to be a part of something. The school play, I was kind of interested in a gal, and so I thought I'd go join the play. All of these things are opportunities that sometimes I think we take for granted when we live in a community this size. In the school, again, that my kids go to, they don't do all these different things. They're very focused on their one single sport or one single vertical of drama or choir or band or whatever it is. And you got a guy like Nate Sletton sitting here, and he's encouraging the athletes to go out for band and choir and things like that. I mean, I think it's just tremendous, the opportunities that ultimately exist in a community like this. But again, it's so much more about the community. When that school in Emmons ultimately shut down, that town itself shut down. And it's so great to see how many community members come here and support not just today at this breakfast, but athletic events, choir concerts, right? The Pops concert that you have, the graduation where, you may know one kid even that's graduating, but yet community members are coming in droves to support what's happening here. And I think that's really unique. I really, really do believe that. The other piece of this that I want to say is that sincerity is something that oftentimes gets overlooked, right? Sometimes we can be fake when we say things, or right, we got to put on a good show or whatever it might be. But this community has always been so sincere. The warmness, the welcoming, the hugs, the high fives, and I think that's a direct result of what happens in the halls at this school. No matter if you're the Lindsay, the lunch lady, or if you're the superintendent or whomever you are, those moments of interaction that you have with those students is so impactful. Those moments of interaction that you have at the lumberyard, at the grocery store, those interactions are so impactful, whether it's just a knuckle in the hall or a smile or a soft kind of wave, that really makes a difference in people's lives. And that's kind of been the antithesis of what we've done in my professional career at St. Croix Hospice. As Mr. Rogne said, I graduated with a degree in political science, which means you can't really do anything. You need to go figure out a real job. And I'll never forget, I was actually at a golf outing with some other probably degenerates, and it was Don Helgeson said, "You should go run a nursing home." And I thought, Don, I don't even know if you know what that means, but okay, I'll consider this. Lo and behold, I ran a nursing home, but I got into senior health care, and I'll tell you, it was the greatest thing. I was living in a house in Beaverdale, which is kind of outside the Drake neighborhood in Des Moines, and we had one college buddy who was smart enough to buy a house, and then he had us basically pay the mortgage and then some to him to live there with him, and it was kind of like Animal House. I'll be honest, it wasn't the greatest place and whatnot, but I was running a nursing home, and so I'd come home and they'd say, "Geez, Bart, how do you do this? I mean, how do you do this every day? You're with old people. I said, guys, look, I have the greatest job in the world. When the NCAA basketball tournament's on, I get to sit there and watch it with my residents. I get to eat every single meal for free. I do my laundry for free right there in the nursing home. I have the greatest gig in the world. While you guys are sitting at your computers, I'm making macaroni art, and it's the greatest thing that's ever existed. You have no idea how good I have it. The only thing I didn't like about the nursing homes was the building. And as you see today, what's happening outside, and I talked to Mr. Rogne and others, right? Water problems, right? HVAC systems, plumbing, water temps not hot enough. I said, boy, if I could do this without having to deal with a building, I can do light bulbs and batteries. That's about my extent of being able to fix anything. This would be great. And I started learning about hospice because we had a number of different hospice programs that served in my nursing home. And I said, well, geez, I think we can do this. I think we can do this better. I think we can do hospice where we can help, really be a partner with the hospice team members as opposed to them being a vendor or kind of even them coming in and just saying, look, get out of our way, we're hospice, this is what's happening. Hospice is something that's exists for about 40 years. Hospice is a Medicare benefit, and so no one pays for hospice, essentially, right? If you're 65 and older, Medicare pays 100% of the fee for hospice, and every hospice has to pay for all the medication, medical equipment, and medical supplies related to a patient that has a terminal diagnosis. Some patients can be on hospice for mere minutes. I mean, we could go to admit someone and they could pass away before we can even finish admission. Some people, like Jimmy Carter, was on hospice for over 2 years, right? So there is no finite number. It's just based on someone progressing in terms of their terminal diagnosis. It's not something that I can say sitting in this room that I would have ever dreamt that I want to be a hospice guy, right? Like that's nothing that anyone said, but I tell you, I found absolute purpose, excitement, and we actually have fun in what we do. We have fun because we have the opportunity to join these patients in their journey, and it's their final journey. And that journey doesn't mean that we have to give up hope or that they have to give up hope. Sometimes that hope often changes, right? I'm not going to go run a marathon, but I sure would like to go to my grandkids' wedding, graduation, go to the lake one last time. And so we get this unique opportunity to be with these patients and family members at a very intimate time. And here's the interesting thing about it. Birth and death are very natural. They're very natural. And our job is to ensure that we can help progress that natural progression as comfortably and as meaningfully as possible. We had some really cool things that had happened over the last couple years in our program. We had a patient of ours who was in his 90s, and he lived in eastern Iowa. And he was a World War II veteran. And the day before he deployed to go out to do his basic training or whatever he had to do, he decided he was going to get married. And he and his wife got married with a justice of the peace. There was no pictures of the wedding, and she had no wedding dress. And he went out, served our country, fought the good fight, came back. They began their life as it stands. And our team had heard about this happening, and they said, well, we should do a wedding. We should have a wedding. And so they connected with the daughters of the couple, and they went out, they found a wedding dress, and someone was an amateur photographer, and so they had this wedding in the backyard of their house. And it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was incredible. And I got a call. This was like on a Thursday afternoon. I got a call on Saturday from the Washington Post. And they said, wow, we'd really like to do a story on, this couple. And, how did you decide to do this? And I said, I knew nothing about it. I had no idea that this even had happened until after it happened. I said, for every one story like this that exists, there's 10 to 15 others that have happened. We got calls, though, from the Washington Post, like I said, the largest newspaper in the UK, Spain, France. We were on People magazine. We had an interview with Inside Edition. It was incredible, right? This viral story, millions of views about this wedding that took place. And yet there was probably 15 other things that happened that same day that were just as impactful. Every engagement you have is similar to that. You don't know if it's going to be a viral news story. You don't know if it's going to make the front page of the Washington Post. We weren't on the front page, but it's meaningful and it's impactful. And just because you don't maybe get the credit for it doesn't mean that it's not as big of a deal as what others that get credit for is. We serve about 7,000 patients a day. 7,000 patients. We have 3,800 employees. We have locations in 10 states. And so no one really comes to us. Our staff kind of are deployed from our offices and they serve patients, whether it's in a nursing home, an assisted living, their own home, and a senior living apartment, or even under a bridge. We've had a number of folks that have been homeless. We take all patients regardless of if they have insurance or not. And there's some markets in Omaha and whatnot where we've had a significant number of immigrants that have come in and work in the packing plants and have had diagnoses of things that I was quite honestly very spooked by, a lot of HIV/AIDS cases and things like that. Our staff, though, are incredible human beings. They're absolutely incredible human beings. They care implicitly. They care without needing and warranting accolades. And I think that most of them could say that a significant reason for that is because of the communities that they grew up in. And again, you are building these future leaders, caregivers, these good humans that are doing really, really amazing and good things. And I commend you for that because, look, it's not an easy job. I'm certain of that. It's a great deal of responsibility. There is oftentimes little recognition, but it's a gift and an opportunity. And it's one that I hope that you all take advantage of. Because as you walk the halls, there will be a short, chubby, non-athletic, terrible actor, mediocre student like me that will be there. That sometimes just needs to have that smile, that knuckle, that engagement. Someone that will make learning fun. Whether they're doing it because they think that they need to do it just to get to the next level, because they are curious learners, because they're committed learners, or because they just like you. I see one of my favorite teachers I've ever had, Sheila Berger, in the room here. I don't know if she was a very good teacher, but we really liked her. We really liked her. And she made school very fun. She made school very fun. We enjoyed going to school. I loved being in school. Mr. Nelson's here. I did gym class twice a day in the mornings. Mr. Burns, both of them, because I loved being in school. And it wasn't because I didn't love being at home. It was because this was a very fun place for me to be. And setting that tone to the students to start the year, I'm sure there's always excitement, there's enthusiasm, the summer kind of giggles and jiggles are hopefully coming out. But it's going to be hard to continue to replicate that enthusiasm, excitement in November, right? In February, when you guys know that there's other things and other needs and different kind of engagement that's lacking. But if you can go back to this, that we do the right thing always because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes, even if we at times don't want to be as sincere as what I started off talking about earlier, we need to have that level of sincerity every single day to every interaction that we have. We don't know if that interaction will be our last interaction that we have with someone. And that's what hospice has really taught me. Life is short. We need to be proud of what we do. We need to be good humans. But at the end of the day, we need to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of us to give back, to participate, and to make every moment as impactful as we can. I hope you have a tremendous school year. I hope the community is able to save off all of the rain that we're having today. And it's nothing better than to be a Bulldog. And I chose to be a Bulldog. And there's nothing better and nothing I'm more proud of in my academic life than the fact that I'm a Lake Mills graduate. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Bartness. That was great. Just all around, thank you. Got a few more introductions here. Before introducing new staff, I'd like to recognize our Board of Education. I know many of them have work commitments and are not able to be here today. But President Ryan Joint, Vice President Casey Singlestead, Director Kari Osheim, Stephanie Storby, and Kristen Wempen. New staff joining us this year. Tiffany Kessler. Good. Tiffany's been here. She's rejoining us as a work experience coordinator, also shared with the districts of Northwood, Kensett, St. Ansgar, Red Rockford, Marble Rock, and Central Springs. So welcome back, Tiffany. Matt Falsgraf is going to teach high school physical education. Again, Mr. Falsgraf's not a new face. He's been here in the building. He's a learner assistant coach, really helping out in a lot of areas. So thanks for coming aboard full time. New learner assistants, Allison Lindquist and Kenzie Montler. Welcome. Before we dive into some other comments, a couple quick announcements. All current Lake Mills staff plan to meet in the auditorium immediately after the breakfast for the staff picture. So first move from here is to the auditorium. We'll take the staff picture in there and have a quick briefing afterward. And then just want to invite everybody here to an open house out at the bus garage on Wednesday, August 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. So it's not exactly new, but we haven't had a chance to get the community out there and take a look at it. If you're interested in that, come on out Wednesday night between 4 and 6. Moving on here, special thanks to Mike Nelson and the Buildings and Grounds crew. It's really remarkable what they're able to do to this building over the summer. It's got 2 acres of roof on it. It's got 160,000 square foot in the building. They strip everything down. Every carpet's cleaned, shampooed, every floor's waxed, every wall scrubbed. Takes a lot of muscle, so thank you, Mike and crew. Appreciate that. Then, in addition to the building maintenance, this summer's brought some substantial technology upgrades to the building. I wish I could tell you everything's 100% done and ready to go, but it will be. It's coming together. But the upgrades include some new student Chromebooks for the rotation, some new iPads for the elementary rotation, upgraded staff computers with monitors and docking stations, as well as some BenQ interactive panel displays for classrooms. So these improvements will help ensure students and staff have the tools they need to succeed in teaching and learning. So we're looking forward to that. And then something on a serious note here, as we begin this new academic year, I just want to address something real directly here. We know that there's been incidents of misconduct that have challenged us recently, and I just want to be clear that we take those matters seriously, we act swiftly, we hold ourselves accountable, but this is what I really want to make clear. We don't allow these actions of one individual to define who we are as a district. I'm real thankful for those that are here, the work you put in for the kids that you do for the right reasons, so thank you. We're a student-focused community. I think this year and every year when we have this back-to-school breakfast, it's a great reminder of that, because one theme I've heard from every speaker comes back is the student-focused area here. So we're a student-focused community committed to safe, supportive, challenging environment where every learner can thrive. We take pride in the strong relationships, high expectations, and close partnerships with families in the community. So thank you for standing together as a community that chooses accountability, unity, and continuous improvement. And it's like I said, it's so awesome to hear our speakers talk about that. It's not just me like talking about it. We don't want it to be lip service. We want it to keep going as it was probably 60 years ago, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, today, and moving forward. We want to have this for generations to come. Our essential learner outcomes, LEARCH, lifelong learner, effective communicator, responsible citizen, critical creative thinker, and healthy contributor, continue to guide our educational journey. These are not just words on the wall, they're the values we strive to live by, the skills we need to model, and the foundation we aim to build in our students. Our mission here is simple but powerful. Through our collective efforts, we are committed to teaching and learning for all. Let's live it, own it, and make this year the best one yet. I think Beth Ades-Hanson and the Education Association are up next.
First of all, I'd like to take a minute to welcome everybody on behalf of the Lake Mills Education Association. And thanks for all that you guys do for us every year. This is a great reason to come together and to celebrate just our community. 28 years ago, I stood up here, had tears in my eyes because I dropped my son off at daycare for the first day. Today I stand up here, proud grandma of one of the members of the class of 2044, 2045. So one of the things I'd like to celebrate today, and the theme throughout the speeches today, is community. So now you got to do a little math in your head. Sorry, it's a math day. If you have been in the community less than 10 years, now I'm not talking in the school district, just in the community, less than 10 years, stand up. Less than 20 years. Less than 30 years. Less than 40 years. Less than 50 years. 60 years. I know there's still people in the back. 70 years. Stay standing up. 80 years. I think we got everybody. Is there anybody more than that? 90? Okay, this is what community looks like. This is what we as Lake Mills portray ourselves as. We are the community of Lake Mills Community School District and the community of Lake Mills, and this is what we're proud of. Have a great year.